Welcome into the very first episode of the Splatoon 3 North American League show. I'm your host, Jordan. Joining me, my good friends as always, Milana, Zach, and Nine. And Milana, a lot to be excited about with our very first episode with League Play starting here very soon.
I know, even though I'm excited, I've heard so much excitement from the community. I know a lot of teams have registered for this event, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the level of play that these teams have to bring to the battlefield.
And speaking of level of play, Zach, you've had a chance to see some of the teams that will be participating, and it seems like everybody's really leveled up their game as they get set for League Play.
I'm like a kid on Christmas Eve. I'm restless. I can't sleep. I just want to know what's waiting for me on the other side of these weeks and weeks of League Play. I'm so excited for the level of competition that this tournament is sure to bring.
And that excitement can be felt through the community, Nine. You've had a chance to be boots on the ground, essentially, and there is an absolute buzz about this league that's beginning here very soon.
Yeah, well, if you haven't gathered from the other two here in the booth, everybody is good at the game right now. Everybody continues to level up, to learn new tricks, and they know they're going to have to bring it because with all the great teams in this type of format, you cannot afford even the smallest of mistakes.
Well, the exciting thing is we got a taste of just how energized everybody is for the Splatoon 3 North American League because we had a chance to go check out Riptide 2025 in beautiful Sandusky, Ohio, right off the Great Lakes. The fans were rolling in. They were amped up, excited to see some high-level play. The commentators, headsets on, ready to just discuss everything we were going to see. And, of course, the players locked in, focused, and we bring you a slew of highlights from some of the best action over the weekend. In Milana, we begin with Zenith. Lavaca versus Moonlight, the Ultra Stamp signed, sealed, and delivered with a critical double splat.
And you see Zenith getting that amazing snipe with that Ultra Stamp. It just really speaks to the level of play. We see the teamwork coming out. The clip begins with Wave honing in and moving in, allowing Zenith to make that play.
And closing it out with a clutch throw to take out two more opponents and setting the stage for what was a very exciting losers semifinals. But then Nine, we get to Lavaca versus FT Win, a little tower control, and for FT Win, you're scrambling towards the tower just trying to close this thing out to protect it.
Well, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, and right now, basically everybody that you see on this stage is an egg. Biscuit dives to fight with Wave, Sam fights Zenith here, and at the end of it all, it's simply Kyo and Thunder dancing on tower. Kyo gets the better of that, and they take the tower with 1 point left.
Doesn't matter as long as you get that win. Now we go to yet another matchup between Lavaca and FT Win. This time, it's Thunder. Staring the beast right in the eyes, all sorts of mayhem happening, jumps right into the firefight and is able to just pull out some incredible plays here, Milana.
I just have one way to describe this clip, and that's high risk, high reward, and that's exactly how Thunder's utilizing those splat dualies. We can see Thunder cleverly dodging the members of FT Win, even though the odds are clearly against him. Q jumps back into the action, decides, nah, that's not where I'm supposed to be, and immediately jumps back out.
Typically, when you hear Thunder, you're supposed to scatter. Apparently, the opposition did not get that notice because Thunder comes right in and creates havoc and then rolls up into that crab tank. And all it takes is a couple of pinpoint plays and some precise aim. Deploy your special, and you've completely flipped a game around. So Thunder and FT Win showing the part. Now, when you go slow-mo, Nine, you know you're ready for something epic. And as we are closing out splat zones, nothing slow about this Reef Slider coming in hot from Kyo.
Kyo is never slow, and look at this. Boom! 3 go down with 1 splash. That Reef Slider in splat zones is huge. And Jordan, I was in the crowd for these closing seconds of this game. This clip almost doesn't do it justice. They were standing up with time left on the clock. The crowd was losing it. The players were losing it as well. And whenever you see a Game 5 come down to these individual plays, this was a hotly contested set, one of the best that I've had the pleasure of watching. Look at how close Goss and Thunder were to getting away, but close simply won't cut it at this level.
Hop off the Reef Slider, pop off the stage. Then finally we close it out. Sam clutching out a win in zones. FT Win using every single member of their team. The personification of teamwork, all the pieces fitting together, and Sam being that last clutch play to get the victory for FT Win. And this is so high level. it's time for some shiny tips with our friend Zach. I know you were loving this one.
Well, this is an example of the never say splatitude that you need to have to win in these overtime moments. Lavaca basically is so close here to getting it. They have a perfect setup. Ghost and Thunder are set up top, but they're behind a splat wall. They've just used a crab to back off the snipe rider on the right-hand side of your screen, and they're soon going to have Zenith coming in with an Ultra Stamp on top of all that for some hyper offense. But FT Win bunkering down. You can see how closely grouped they are together, but one person is missing, and that is Sam, camping the drop down, waiting for the members of Lavaca to finish using all of their specials and using that sticker Splatana stamper to get the important pick, get back to the zone, which is small enough where it can be taken back in a short amount of time. The sprinkler and the suction bomb helping out the cause, and with just a few seconds gone through into overtime, they are able to tie that series up at 1.
I guess you could say it was teamwork for the win. Well, as exciting as the action was on stage, what really made Riptide special were the people. Later on, 9 will get a chance to catch up with one of the biggest faces in the community, our good friend, Chara. Well, it's time now to check out the schedule for the Splatoon 3 North American League, and we've got several weeks of exciting action coming your way. We begin with 2 weeks of preseason play. This allows the teams to build some chemistry and fine-tune those skills, because coming around the corner, 8 weeks of regular season, and then of course the playoffs after that, where we will eventually find a champion. And the exciting thing is, every single weekend you can catch the tournament beginning at 12 p.m. Pacific time, and at 4 p.m. Pacific, the top 8 live stream begins, so you can see firsthand all of the high-level play and exciting action. Zach, you look at what you're most excited for when you factor in all the different teams we're going to see and everybody's excitement. What has you most itching to watch this?
You know, previous tournaments have more so been a sprint, and this feels much more like a marathon to me. You get the plus side of having a few weeks worth of margin of error, where if you don't perform your best, that doesn't necessarily have to count against you. Your best 5 weeks are what's going to contribute into whether you make the playoffs. But that also means that the consistency has to be there. And for some teams, they're going to struggle. For other teams, it's going to be an absolute feast for them.
And 9, it's really interesting when you look at the schedule and the format, because this is a unique situation for a lot of people, and there's a lot of excitement about that.
This ladder format is going to allow some of the newer teams to compete against teams around their skill level. They'll get to learn a lot from it. And on the flip side, it means that our top teams are going to bump into each other early and often, which, hey, I love it when the Titans clash, because it means you're going to see top-level Splatoon early and often and all throughout the ladder, as well as that top 8.
Well, make sure you register. You can go to battlefy.com/NintendoVersus, and your team can find themselves in this year's Splatoon 3 North American League. Now, Milana, whenever we go and commentate an event, you're the first one to the merch booth. You've got all the accessory stuff I've never even seen before in my life. So naturally, when it comes to a splash tag, there's individuals like myself that are just clicking A, whatever. It's the most vanilla splash tag on earth. I have a feeling you have thought about your splash tag very carefully and have poured maybe hours into the decision. So tell me about your splash tag and what went into that.
All right, so for my splash tag, my title is Big Money, Big Shot. And
I was doing this as a joke. I didn't actually.
It is a
It
big
came to
money,
fruition.
Big shot, okay? All right, let me explain. Okay, so
Please do.
like I said, my favorite mode, even though I love Clan Blitz, Salmon Run has my heart and soul, and I treat the big shots, they're the most coveted boss in Salmon Run. You want to be able to defeat them the most because they're the hardest ones to come by. So it's really hard to get those big shot badges. So for me, those big shots are big money. So I'm always like eyes first, treasure eyes. And then you see the badges. I have my silver big shot badge, and then I have my 3 gold bars, which really is reflective. So I think it is a reflective of me as a person, going straight for the merch booth, but also, I just love going for the big shots and stealing them from my teammates.
Oh, big money straight to the merch booth. You will never hear the end of that, by the way, from now on moving forward. All right, 9, I can't even remember your first name after all these years because I just call you 9. So I know you're thinking specifically about what your splash tag is going to be. What direction did you go in?
Well, you'll note that Milana had lots of things like greed and going and stealing. Meanwhile, I am only loyal, as you can see right here. Athletic Marie fan has been my tag since the start of Splatoon 3. The moment that those all came out, I said, all right, I like doing athletic things and I like Marie. We've got the Squid Sisters there in the back, and then for the badges, we have the 5-star sloshing machine. We've got hazard level max, because like Milana, I do enjoy some salmon run, and then my top 500 X rank badge, just to show people that, yeah, I commentate the game, but I also play it too, and I'm kind of nice, just a little bit.
I like it, 9. It's straight on the nose. It is athletic, Marie, fan, human, man, living in America. Just right, nothing. All subtlety thrown out the window right there. So, Zach, this is where I'm curious, because you've got 7 different nicknames, I believe, and the different things that we commentate here. But I continue to go to Zach here. Where did you go with your splash tag?
Where Milana's is definitely more money focused, and 9 is kind of covering all the bases. I went very simple, true to myself. And that is as a panicking Tri-Slosher user. I do try all the various Tri-Sloshers, and I panic on every single one of them. It's basically just a spray and pray tactic. And unlike 9 and Milana, I am not as adept at the game, and so I will take whatever I can get. And if that's the occasional splat through just spamming the trigger, I will happily take it. The banner itself, one of the few times I've ever been lucky on the shell-out machine, so I will wear that gold banner with pride. And then the actual badges themselves, the badge for getting a tournament organization done, so participating in a couple of tournaments as an organizer. And then the 2 times, I'm no salmon run expert like Milana, but the 2 times I've been able to reach Executive VP 999 on Sockeye Station and Bone Rattle Arena. I have to be sure to rep those.
Panicking Tri-Slosher, the courageous frontliner that you are. I love it. Splatoon has obviously been the common thread that has bonded us all here. And it makes you wonder, what got you interested in this franchise at the very beginning? Because there's all sorts of games to choose from and things clamoring for our attention. But Milana, you look back at the first time you heard about Splatoon, or how did you get hooked, to borrow the pun, in a sense, on Splatoon?
Actually, I didn't even know about Splatoon when Splatoon 1 came out. I had zero clue that was a franchise that existed. I'm just being completely honest.
No, that's great. We love the honesty. Makes it an even better story.
So I actually found out about Splatoon from my brother, who bought it for the Wii U, and he started playing it. And a week later, he's just like, I'm not going to play it anymore. So I'm like, okay, what if I picked it up? So then I picked it up, and I was like, this is kind of fun. But back then I was a sticks player and I wasn't finding myself improving very much, so then it didn't make me very happy to play Splatoon. But then I revisited Splatoon 2 when it came out, and I had a much better time with that.
How about you, Zach? What got you first interested in Splatoon?
I think I already had, of course, a Wii U at the time that Splatoon 1 came out, and had friends that were playing it and getting more serious about it, and had played shooter-style games before, and figured, okay, I might as well give this one a shot. It looks like the movement in it is fun, and it's definitely a novel concept. It's a nice, bright, and colorful game in contrast to a lot of the other games from that genre. And so kind of picked it up on a whim and on the recommendation from my friends, and fell in love with the different play styles, the maps that are available. And I think having friends that play the game definitely assisted in my longevity. I think if it was something where I was grinding it out solo every day, I don't really consider myself that type of person, but knowing folks that enjoyed it and seeing that enjoyment lasted for months on end really kept me involved in the scene. And then, of course, when I found out that I had friends that were getting competitively serious and wanted to pursue that, it made me not only root for them, but want to strive for greater heights as a player myself. And so getting to try the different weapons and find what I enjoy playing kept the game new and interesting all the way throughout the first game, as well as the sequels that would follow.
Yeah, and 9, how about you? Because I know at the time you were probably knee-deep in some 300-hour RPG that you were just resonating with all the characters on. But what was it about Splatoon that was able to divert your attention from such quest and pick it up?
Yeah, I hate how right you are, first of all. Now you've totally thrown me off. No. So it's funny how quickly I fell in love with the game. I saw that initial trailer back at E3 2014, I believe, and it was an interesting enough concept just from that one quick teaser that I thought, okay, when this does come out, I'm going to give it an honest try. And I played that very first test fire, And instantly, within one game, I remember looking over at my friends and saying, this is it, this is my game. And again, it took absolutely no time. I promise I'm not exaggerating this at all. I stayed up for every single test fire that I could do, and as soon as the game came out, I was looking for different people to compete against, the best weapon, everything that I could possibly do, because I fell in love with so many aspects of it. Like Zach said, the stages were all so fun, the weapons were such novel concepts, the movement and the aiming systems were unlike anything in any game that I played in any genre, and 300-hour RPGs are a lot of fun, but there's something about a 5-minute game where all 5 minutes are so adrenaline-packed that all you can do is mash the A button to get into the next game as soon as it's done, and it's been that way ever since. I just love it so deeply, and it hasn't changed one bit.
Yeah, a little bit more action-packed than having to traverse the country to trade a chicken with someone. So, a lot of fun there. And for me, I remember, I think Nintendo had set up this live event where people were actually, using ink and they had barriers set up. I thought, okay, there's a lot going on here. I gotta check this out. And first time you pick up the sticks, you're right, you're just hooked. It looks so much different than anything else. And as you got in, that 5 minutes, just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, gotta get back in, gotta get back in. It was lights out at that point. Great catching up with you guys. I know we're going to have many more memories to make along the road. And thank you just for a little glimpse in your personalities with the splash tags and everything. And Milana, that's the last time I'll call you that, Big Money, because we have got a new name for you moving forward. So looking forward to it, guys. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Hey everybody, welcome to a wonderful interview. My name is Ninehole Grains and I am joined today by Chara. You're known for your competitive play and things surrounding that aspect of the game, but do you play much table turf? Do you play much salmon run? Because I know a lot of players have really adapted salmon run as time's gone on.
I became a big salmon run fan in Splatoon 3. I really enjoyed how it plays in this game. The higher difficulty settings are really cool, and I felt like a lot of the rotations felt more fun. So I got into it a lot there, and it really helps for getting ability chunks and gear. So
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time playing it to try to get chunks. Big Run became my favorite event, so I do that one a lot. I've played table turf enough to get almost level 30. I'm like level 29, I'm right there. I can probably get it on the plane on the way back. And then I've completed like 100% for side order and alternate. So I definitely play all aspects of the game a bit too, yeah.
I mean, your journey throughout this game has been really interesting too, because I knew you years ago, obviously, as a competitive player with a number of different teams. Then, of course, you got onto the content side, and now you're doing a fantastic job as a coach. So talk a little bit, I guess, maybe a sampling of what each of those roles has meant to your development here, what you've liked about them, because there aren't many other people who've taken the journey you have, and certainly not to the heights that you've reached.
Well, I think I started where most people did of like, oh, I want to be the world champion. I want to be the best player in the world. I'm going to play this game
You
and get
almost
like
got
really good
there.
at it. And yeah, I've got the closest I've gotten is second at the NA Championship in 2019. We lost 3-4 to FT1. It was a very fun set. It's still my favorite tournament I've ever gone to.
One of my favorite I've ever casted.
And it's definitely been a lot of I feel like since Splatoon 2 onward, I've found a weapon I like, tend to play it for a while, and eventually something will change. And it's been a lot about realizing how I've changed as a player over the years and being willing to adapt and shift to what works well for me. Most recently, that's been playing support with Dreadringer and maybe Brella. Now that it got that big buff, I've been trying it out a little bit. Still
I've heard.
But switching to that more supportive playstyle recently has been a shift for me. So I think generally competitive has been the journey to be very open about how you play, what you enjoy, and being able to change things. It's important to get rid of your own biases and just accept what works at the end of the day. And I feel like that's been a big lesson for me. It's always a journey of self-improvement, and I just find that very satisfying to, feel like I'm constantly learning something. As a content creator, I mean, I got into it because of Dude. That SRB2 Dude obviously got talked about competitive content, wanting it to get better, and I thought, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And I tried making content during when Splatoon 3 was coming out, and then things really went full steam ahead when the game came out, and I'm just very fortunate. I never really expected to take off this much at all when I started. It took me by as much surprise as I think everyone else, and I'm very grateful for it. I've had a lot of people come up to me at the event and say that I'm the reason they got into tournaments or come to the LAN or something like that, and it always gets me. The whole reason I do everything that I do is I really want the scene to grow and be the best place it can be, and I'm very glad that's been able to help people. I'm really, really honored for that. And then as a coach, I mean, that was definitely newer. I've done like a lot of individual coaching every now and then, but I've never like full on coached for a team. But I knew the players on Moonlight, and my previous team had just disbanded. So I was like, I like these players. I see the potential in their team. Why don't I see if they're open to that? And it's been really good. I've been coaching Moonlight for a little over a year and a half now, and they're the best team environment I could ever ask for, truly. They are amazing friends. We're able to talk about anything we need to. There's like a consistent work effort and practice, and everyone is good friends. It's exactly the kind of thing you look for them, and I'm still really enjoying it. I've been balancing, playing some tournaments on my own when I get a chance with coaching them, and that's been going well. I've just had a good time, I think I'm in a spot I'm pretty happy with, and I'm mostly going to be coaching them for the league. I might be doing one of the weeks, I think, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how we do in that. I know they've been looking forward to something like this for a long time, so right now we're all very excited. The team is like super ready for this kind of event, and I cannot wait to see how it goes.
All right, this is the big question. What has Splatoon meant to you through all these years?
It's really hard to just kind of summarize it in a small way. I mean, I really got to have more of a sense of community and meet so many different people than I ever really had before. Most of my friends and people I've gotten to meet are from this game, and I've gotten to, help this amazing community grow and evolve. And, not to mention the game itself also just being this really fun experience that constantly gives me something enjoyable to do, somewhere where I feel like I get to, improve and work on myself as a player. And it's been a nice constant in my life that I felt has really helped me. And it's just the experience of like being involved with a scene like this with so many amazing people in it. I don't really have the words for it. It's been absolutely life-changing for me, and I'm grateful for it each and every day.
Well, this has been an absolute blast here. We've had some fun, some laughs, and we've gotten to know you a little bit better, Chara. So thank you so much for joining us here for this interview.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be here.
Howdy Squid Kids, Milana here to tell you how to sign up for the Splatoon 3 North American League. It's a super simple process, so I'll be walking through it with you all so that when game day rolls around, we'll all be ready for competition. First, let's head on over to battlefy.com/NintendoVersus. Click the yellow register button and log into your Battlefy account. If you don't have one, well, be sure to create one. Once we're there, let's move on to the official rules together. Be sure to review the rules thoroughly for tournament format, prizing information, and, well, anything else that might be important to know about this event. Well, I've already read the rules, so I'll just check this box here and we can move on to the next step together. For this next step, fill out your first name, last name, and contact email. This is how we will reach out to you if you're eligible for prizing, so be sure to fill the space with an email address that you check regularly. Additionally, be sure to indicate whether you are at least 18 years old in the given space. Once we're done with this, there's just one more step left to go. In this last section, fill out your in-game name, your Nintendo account user ID, and Switch friend code. All of this information can be found in your Switch profile page. You'll also need your Nintendo Switch support ID number, but if you need help finding this number, go to your user settings, scroll down to user support, and select support number. The Nintendo Switch support ID should be on this page. Once we have all this information collected, congratulations! You are now registered for the Splatoon 3 North American League. Once you're registered, it's super simple to create a team. Enter your team name, upload a team logo, and include a team bio to describe how your team plays. There is one important rule. All roster changes made after Event 4 will result in creating a new team. After your team has played in at least one event, 3 of the original players must remain the same. So be sure to keep this in mind when you're creating your team. Once your team is created, you'll have an invite link to send to your friends so that your team can be filled. Then, you'll be redirected to the Team Hub where you can see your team's stats, history, and anything else you might need to compete at your very best. Now you're all set and ready to compete in the Splatoon 3 North American League.
That'll do it for episode 1 of the Splatoon 3 North American League show, but don't forget tomorrow, September 20th, preseason week 1 starts. All the action begins at 12 p.m. Pacific with the tournament beginning, and then at 4 p.m. Pacific you can catch the live stream. Also, don't forget about our Sunday scrims. It's a fun way to be a part of Salmon Run. Whether you're by yourself or with a team of 4, you can be a part of all the action during the weekend. Now make sure you come back next week for episode 2. We're going to break down preseason week number 1 and set the stage for the regular season. That'll be just around the corner. So for myself, Nine, Zach, and Milana, stay fresh.